early this morning, as he then will head on to Sehdev Atal and then the National War Memorial from there to pay respects to fallen soldiers as well. Prime Minister there at Rajghat paying respects to Mahatma Gandhi as he then will head on to Sehdev Atal and then the National War Memorial, and towards the evening at around 7 p.m. is when the swearing-in ceremony will take place. Now remember, the President will swear in the Prime Minister as well as his cabinet. Again, like I had stated, sources telling us not the entire cabinet going to be sworn in today, but about 30 ministers will be sworn in. People who've been invited for the swearing-in ceremony includes several top leaders as well as dignitaries, 6 heads of state, which includes Sheikh Hasina, Bangladesh Prime Minister, as well as we're also learning that President Muizu from Maldives will also be attending the swearing-in ceremony. Remember, this will be the first swearing-in ceremony that he attends after the tensions arose between India and Maldives, not only over troops leaving Maldives, but also over tourism. And there was a war of words between India and Maldives. Now, after that, this will be the first visit of the president of Maldives. We're also expecting that Bhutanese Prime Minister as well as Nepali Prime Minister will be visiting for the swearing-in ceremony. 6 dignitaries from foreign nations also indicates India's neighbourhood first policy, as Pakistan and China were not invited for the swearing-in ceremony. Now, the Prime Minister, of course, having paid respects at Rajghat, he's heading to Sehdev Atal. We're expecting just in a few moments that he will be there at the Sehdev Atal to pay his respects as well. And from there, he will head on to the National War Memorial to pay respect to the fallen soldiers. Now, that, of course, as tradition goes, is what happens in the morning of swearing in. But interestingly, this is the 3rd time around that the Modi cabinet will be sworn in, but this time not with an absolute majority for the BJP. They are heavily reliant on the NDA allies. Right. Remember, in terms of people who've been invited for the swearing-in ceremony, we are expecting 6 heads of states to attend. Not only that, but top dignitaries, including top doctors, lawyers, and industry leaders, in fact, from several fields to be attending. We're also expecting religious leaders to be attending the swearing-in ceremony. In terms of other party leaders, the Congress, we're learning, has not yet decided if they're going to be attending the swearing-in ceremony. The TMC, on the other hand, has said that they were not invited to the swearing-in ceremony and hence won't be attending. So that is the latest in terms of politics around the swearing-in ceremony, where the opposition parties say that they've not been invited. The TMC, in fact, saying that they've not been invited. Congress, on the other hand, has not confirmed that they will be in attendance. Remember, this time around, it's crucial for the NDA to maintain a balance in terms of giving out portfolios to their key allies, which includes the TDP and the JDU. My colleague Vedant joins us with more details. Vedant, now the Prime Minister just having paid respect at Rajghat, he's now heading to Sehdev Atal and then to the National War Memorial, right ahead of a historic swearing-in ceremony.
That's right. It's going to be a packed day, Aarti. Remember, the Prime Minister at Rajghat, as you mentioned, is something which has been, a convention. The Prime Minister, whether it was in 2014 or 2019, we have seen how the NDA has really, converted a swearing-in ceremony into a sort of a show of strength. Of course, world leaders have been invited for the historic 3rd term oath, including neighborhood leaders who have already arrived in the national capital. And there's heavy security across Delhi. In fact, Delhi has turned into a no-fly zone. You have security ramped up in and around Raisina Hills, as it's going to be a packed day today. As you rightly pointed out, the Prime Minister is at Rajghat, after which, of course, he will be going to the War Memorial. The swearing-in is scheduled to happen at around 7:15 in the evening. It will be a 45-minute ceremony with 30 ministers taking oath today. Not all ministers will be taking oath today, but it's going to be a grand affair. Of course, allies front and center, but it's very much still, the Prime Minister's mandate. The BJP, sort of negotiating with the allies also from a position of strength. That 240 number is something that is extremely significant, despite the fact that, it's not the number that the BJP expected. But nevertheless, the fact of the matter is that it is, as you rightly pointed out, the historicity of the event that the BJP is really trying to sort of, that is very central to the messaging of the BJP and the NDA. Which is why the Prime Minister is at Rajghat. As I said, this is convention. After this, the Prime Minister will also be at the Sadaiv Atal, and then, of course, the National War Memorial at 7:30. The optics extremely significant here, Aarti, because remember, on the day the Prime Minister was elected the NDA Parliamentary Party leader, he went to meet his mentor and BJP veteran Lal Krishna Advani, then Manohar Lal Joshi. He also met President Ramnath Kovind. So it's always been about the optics, and when it comes to the BJP and the Prime Minister, the messaging becomes very central, which is why ahead of the swearing ceremony, a grand show of strength by the Prime Minister and of course the NDA.
Thank you, Vedant, for joining us and bringing us those details.